Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
What's up, everybody? It's Friday night, 9 o'clock. I got a crew in the house that is ready to let you know what's up. Hope everybody had a killer week. This show is going to be packed full of goodness. We're going to talk about some free agency nonsense. We're going to talk about some crazy hot takes. These guys are going to bring across the calls that everybody else is scared to say and let you know why you need to make those moves. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about some rookie shakedown. And, of course, we are here to answer your questions. So, dynasty, rookie profiles, whatever you need to know, drop it in the chat. We are here for you. What is up, fellas?
Man, like I said, any day on this side of dirt's a good one. And anytime I get to talk about the guys I'm going to talk about, we're going to talk about it.
We are going to talk about. I mean, and even Coach up there, he's got the thing. He's inquisitive.
I'm people, baby.
Ready to deliver the knowledge. And Aaron, I'm going to throw you to the tank right off top.
Awesome.
And the free agency thing has been crazy. Obviously, everybody following what's happening with Rodgers, what's happening with Russ, what are the Steelers going to do at quarterback, and it has been nonsense. And we thought, the Giants signed Jameis, and everybody's like, okay, this is good. Maybe Malik Neighbors is like maybe he shows out because we know Jameis ain't afraid to throw it downfield, pick or not, and then they follow that up with signing Russell Wilson. What are your thoughts?
It's just amazing that everyone still has them projected to be taking a quarterback with what do they have, the 3 or the 6? I think it's the 3, right? 3rd overall. So they just went and brought in 2 veteran quarterbacks, and I think that tells you how they feel about this quarterback class. Same way I feel. I don't like it very much. So it kind of lowers my confidence in the rookie quarterback class, and I feel like I liked it a lot better for fantasy with Jameis in there. Another 30-30 season there, but Russ is scary. Not sure I want that. It's going to be a messy situation like last year. You're going to have everyone drafting, what was it last year, half Wilson, half Fields, hoping, to get that one guy. I think it's a messy situation, and I don't know, my ultimate takeaway is the rookie quarterback class sucks. It does.
It's funny. I'm sitting there looking at JC, and his name is Shaduer Sanders, and obviously, Shaduer had his pro day today. And I mean, is it that bad, JC? Like, or is the quarterback
Absolutely
class is Sanders that bad that they would rather have Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston over taking him this year with the 3?
I'm going to quote the great philosophizer who I was able to learn football under as a youth. The great Hugh Freeze, Auburn legend, head coach Hugh Freeze. If you got 2 quarterbacks, you don't have any. And right now the Giants have 2 quarterbacks, and they don't have any. They don't have a long-term answer in any way, shape, or form. So, yeah, go ahead, get my namesake in there, get Shaduer Sanders in there. Let's get him throwing some bombs to Malik Neighbors. Let's unlock the potential of 170 targets, what that really can look like if you don't have teamsters and future garbage men and Daniel Jones throwing them the football. Like, let's see what it really looks like if you get an NFL quarterback in there. Now, is Shaduer limited? Sure. I mean, is his ceiling probably peak Bengals Andy Dalton? Yeah, but that's still really good in terms of actual NFL football. So do I think that this class is anywhere near 2024? No, but it never was going to be. So we're talking about 6 quarterbacks drafted in the top 12 versus you have one clear-cut guy and another guy behind him. And then we're steaming up one dude because we do that every single year. A guy that probably should go in the second round that's going to go in the first round. And we're doing it again with a dude with 17 broken clavicles and a broken fibula in Tyler Shuck. And I mean, is it as good as last year? No. But is it as bad as everybody makes it seem? No. Like, Shaduer Sanders is an NFL starter. Jaxson Dart might be an NFL starter. Cam Ward is my quarterback for the next 15 years. Ward Daddy Ward, two-tone blue. Let's go, baby. But
Okay.
what I'm saying is I want Shaduer Sanders to land in a situation that sucks because all he's done since he left high school is turn around 2 programs and make them culturally relevant in the greater landscape of college football, whereas nobody gave a crap about them beforehand. So I will release the floor.
I have a rebuttal. I'm an IDP guy here.
Here we go.
And I think who the Giants should select is the guy who actually made Colorado relevant, and that's Travis Hunter. And from an IDP guy, it's perfect because on half of Russell Wilson's throws, he's going to get a reception, and the other half, he's going to get a tackle after the interception.
There we go. I like how you're thinking, baby. I like how you're thinking, Aaron. All right. The patron saint of IDP. I love it. Honestly, I think that you're right. I mean, without question, Travis Hunter is the 101 in any IDP league. I mean, it's not even a question. You could get the JJ Watt from 2012 or 13 or whatever it was, where he was moonlighting as a tight end, but get that on steroids, you know? So I agree with you wholeheartedly. I mean, I do think that Travis Hunter belongs in the top 3 or top 4, whatever. He's the best talent in the draft. Full
Chev
stop.
said I was right. That's all I needed to hear. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Hey, it's the Moneyball approach. What's happening with the Giants? They're just going at from the standpoint they know it's going to run up on Cam Ward, Shaduer Sanders, in all likelihood. Jaxson Dart. This is just a tell on Jaxson Dart that the Giants aren't necessarily convinced. Be it maybe they would trade back, but it's no guarantee. So you insure something, you insure nothing, right? If you're double insured, double indemnity, it's not something you want to go for. You have Jameis Winston, you have Russell Wilson. It's funny enough, Jameis Winston was 11th in interceptable passes in 2024. Russ Wilson, 11 in money throws in 2024. So the moonball is still there for Russell Wilson. But it's funny enough, ironically, we prefer Jameis Winston for Malik Neighbors. Chev said it beautifully off the rip. 170 targets last season was first for Malik Neighbors. First in drops, 10. So there's more goodness to be had out there. First in target share for Malik Neighbors, 34%. Imagine 2 more games for Malik Neighbors. He could get towards the 190, 200 mark in targets. Remember what happened with Malik Neighbors. Weeks 2 through 4 was going absolutely ham. Neighbors, wide receiver 3, 4, and 6. Those 3 weeks. Gets that concussion on Thursday Night Football. And, of course, there was just a little bit of a lag there, missing the 2 games. I really love this move for Malik Neighbors. That's really what we want to squeeze the juice out for this move. So, Russ, it's maybe disgusting from a future and real NFL standpoint, but it is absolutely beautiful for our fantasy goodness in comparison to what it was last year. And that shows you how bad things were last year. So it's another man's trash is another man's treasure. And believe it or not, Malik Neighbors is going to get it. The pressure is off, but the Giants are likely going to strike out at quarterback in the draft, and they're going to push towards something for 2026. Right now, they've got nobody, but there is double indemnity that exists in the fact that if you get Jameis Winston, hey, we're cashing checks fantasy-wise. We're already going to cash it with Russell Wilson and Malik Neighbors. So it's double indemnity that's there and exists, and this is a good thing for Malik Neighbors in 2025.
Come on, we got to all admit the reason we like Winston as his quarterback is he's the meme of closing his eyes saying, fuck it, Neighbors down there somewhere.
Absolutely.
He doesn't even care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He's like, if it's a pick, who cares? I'll get another turn in like 10 minutes. Like
it's magic ball.
Oh, he doesn't. He literally does not care. He said on Bussin' with the Boys, he said, there'll never be a quarterback break my record. They don't have the confidence.
Yeah, he's like, I trust in God.
Hey, and I think he's the one player in the NFL where people really, they're not going to hold him to it. They're not going to give him a hard time for, hey, man, you did 30 one way, you do 30 the other. They're not going to hold him to it. He's got the coolest job in the NFL because there's really no accountability that he has to have. He can just be funny.
Well, speaking of the Giants, another man's trash, another man's treasure. Danny Dimes makes his way to Indianapolis and apparently enters a open quarterback competition with Anthony Richardson. They have said open quarterback competition. Are you buying it, Chev?
There's nothing I hate more than this question. There's
fair.
nothing I hate more than this question. I have been a Daniel Jones denier since his inception as an NFL quarterback. I saw a game at Duke where he threw for 59 yards.
Hey, it's Ryan Seacrest. Life comes at you fast, which is why it's important to find some time to relax. A little you time. Enter Chumba Casino. With no download required, you can jump on anytime, anywhere for the chance to redeem some serious prizes. So treat yourself with Chumba Casino and play over 100 online casino-style games, all for free. Go to ChumbaCasino.com to collect your free welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Against the worst Miami team. And I said, there's no way that this dude's an NFL quarterback. And I saw I've been a Daniel Jones denier since he was drafted. And I stand on that. I just don't think he's very good. So the problem is I watched Anthony Richardson at Florida as a Florida fan, and he's not very good either. And it is two homeless people fighting over the last piece of bread and who's going to draft Arch Manning in 2026. It is the worst possible scenario for Colts fans. Now, as a Titans fan, I love this. I couldn't be happier about it. Just watching two dudes just bum fight in the street over who's going to throw the most interceptions this year and or check out of the game for various reasons. So, yes, make it an open competition. Neither one of them is good. They're not good. So one of them gives you crazy rushing upside, potentially, maybe, possibly.
Apparently, Daniel Jones also gives you crazy rushing upside.
Hey, you want something on that? I got something on that. Hey, 2022, various reasons, right? We'll call it various reasons. Advanced rushing in 2022 for Daniel Jones, 4th in carries for quarterbacks, 5th in carries per game, 4th in red zone carries, 5th in rushing yards, 5th in rushing yards per game at 44.3. We're just a couple of years removed from that for Daniel Jones. He can cook in the rush game, and I actually really like it for Josh Downs because Wan'Dale Robinson can collect 10 to 14 targets. It can be trash targets because of a trash O-line. If we get an improvement on the O-line for various reasons with the Colts, then we got Daniel Jones feeding in some Josh Downs. So I actually like it. There's some life. It's a low bar. We're in a low bar society here. But give me Daniel Jones right now for some fancy goodness to squeeze out on your Adonai Mitchells, your Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, I guess. But look, I don't mind it at all.
I appreciate you, Coach. I do. But you really lost me at the phrase Daniel Jones can cook.
The is still cooking.
I mean, it is potted meat in a saucer on the stove, but it can cook.
Yeah, I got two things here. First, let me be on the live draft show with Chev if the Titans somehow manage to pass on a quarterback and he realizes he has Will Levis as his quarterback compared to this shit show. I'll watch his head explode. It'll be wonderful.
His eyes twitching already.
This has got to be bullshit, right? This is like when the rookie quarterback gets drafted and the coach says, well, we're going to make him work for the job, right? They're giving this to Richardson, and it's just something to light a fire under his ass. This isn't real, right?
No, it's not real at all.
There's no way.
But they're all fighting for their jobs, and they're trying to convince us that it's an open quarterback competition. So they're going to go with the guy. The GM that drafted Anthony Richardson is still there. He's still there. He's in the building. He's still drafting people. He's going to be in charge of this draft right here. And they brought in Daniel Jones for $14 million to feign the appearance that there's a quarterback competition, but they're just trying to get Anthony Richardson to care about being a professional more.
I don't know what the next topic for my Fantasy Pros article will be, but if I can find a way to work in the two bums fighting over a piece of bread analogy, I'm going to do it, and I'm gonna quote you there, Chev. That's the best analysis I've seen all year.
Look, it's crazy. I've never been. You guys know I've talked about the show a million times. I'm not a fan of Anthony Richardson. I thought he was going to be a bust coming in. There's no way that you go to school like Florida and you don't keep your team above 500. It's crazy to me. Like a good quarterback elevates squads. We see it. A good quarterback can go to a bad team, and that bad team at least becomes relevant, right? Tim Tebow was able to lead them to, lead them positively. Lead Denver to the playoffs, right? Tebow can lead Denver to the playoffs, right?
Playoffs.
We know he's not a good quarterback. I'm not saying that he's a good quarterback, but like a good quarterback, if he can do it, why can't Anthony Richardson? He's not a good quarterback. Like period. He's not a good quarterback. Now I don't know if there's a way that they can use him in the future, use his legs, get him run the football. He's definitely a big athlete, but he's another one of those stories. And you mentioned it earlier, Sheb, where the combine does everything. Like you look at his tape's not great. You look at his record, his stats in college, not great. Basically, he came in the combine. He had some electric combine markers, and it created a crazy narrative. We saw it with Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson at BYU was nothing. And then at the combine, he makes that crazy throw off of his back foot, which, by the way, Sam Darnold made the same throw at his combine. Makes that crazy throw off his back foot, and all of a sudden we're talking about him being a top 5 caliber quarterback, somebody worth a top tier pick. And it happens every year. When they don't have anybody, they try to make a narrative out of one of these players. And it's crazy. The GM at Tennessee, or the GM at Indy, it's crazy that after making that pick, somehow he's still there. It feels like that team is quitting on him.
Or they're just influenced by cocaine use.
Fourth?
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. That should brighten your day a little. Actually, a lot. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
He's only played 15 games. I'm not really an Anthony Richardson fan either, but he's been hurt so much. It's only been 15
That was college.
Games.
You look at his college. Look how many games he actually played.
Bro, he started 13 games in college, and he rotated with a dude that might be playing Arena 2 football right now.
Well,
they were rotating. They were bringing him in. And, everybody remembers the very first game of the season against Utah where he does the jumping spin throw where he jumps, he spins, the guy fakes a guy out and he runs into the end zone. He's super athletic. The problem is he's not using his legs the way he did. He's not using his legs the way he did. He started doing it. Towards the end of the year after he got benched. That's the thing that gives me a little bit of hope. But it just hasn't clicked as a thrower yet. Just not even in a manner in which it's acceptable. We're talking 47.9% completion percentage in 2024. That's worse. That's the worst mark in the history of the NFL with the amount of attempts that he had. And so you're talking about a guy who groomed Jalen Hurts, who got Jalen Hurts, made Jalen Hurts a fantasy superstar, and we're just missing the mark with Anthony Richardson. The thing that we don't talk about is Anthony Richardson didn't have near the amount of college starts that Jalen Hurts had. He's not made of the same stuff that Jalen Hurts is, where I can get benched and just be the ultimate teammate until it's my time to go somewhere else. I can go finish second in the Heisman and then go in the second round to $100 million quarterback and supplant him in my first year because the team sees how hard I prepare. That's the opposite. That is the antithesis of what Anthony Richardson is. It's just not it's just not there. I want it to be there really bad because if it hits, that is Cam Newton 2.0. He breaks fantasy, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
He was
no, I
so
love
good.
that
We were
too.
hoping for Joe Flacco starts last year.
Yeah, I know. See, we football stopped happening, and we forgot that we were clamoring for Joe Flacco so Josh Downs could be relevant.
Which
We
is
made
why
Pickens relevant.
Daniel Jones can cook.
No,
Absolutely.
no.
Hey, who would you prefer? Hold on. Who would you prefer for Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield in a PPR league? Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones?
Give me the running quarterback.
Yeah, I want the running quarterback. It is proven if you have a good, strong running quarterback, it opens up lanes for your running back. So from the running back side, I would rather have Anthony Richardson, just like you see with Lamar. Any running back that runs for the Ravens, it doesn't matter if it's Gus Edwards, Keaton Mitchell, Derrick Henry. It doesn't matter who it is. Somebody on a bum leg can run for the Ravens, and they're going to be successful because the linebackers have to play honest to Lamar.
Look, this is
So throw me a
impossible.
percent. What percent chance do you think right now it's Anthony Richardson versus Daniel Jones week 1?
85. I don't think that this is the passing playbook for the Colts with Anthony Richardson at quarterback.
Okay, so Anthony Richardson rushed for 499 last year. Daniel Jones in 2022 rushed for 708 yards. So I think they're both the rushing quarterback, and they're both I think they're both running backs.
Okay.
That might be the whole conundrum this whole time.
Yeah. Before we go off in left field, because that's
for various reasons, they're both running backs.
That's going to take us to a whole nother, JTB win. Like, I know this is not the context, but it's going to take us down a well. Well, and we're going to get stuck in a giant hole that's not going to progress the show at all. So, no, I mean, I think that we're in consensus. The Colts, they're going to have to do something. And, it almost feels, I'm going to throw this out here. It almost feels like the Colts history and the Giants history both decided this year they're going to go with bum quarterbacks, take it as it goes, and essentially maybe get a legacy quarterback with a last name of both of their probably top-tier prime quarterbacks in history of the franchises.
Well, here's the question on that. Does that mean, so since you have the Colts at 14 and we view the Giants at 3 as wanting to be out on Jaxson Dart, does that then give us a tell that Jaxson Dart is going to fall past 14 for the Colts, lower into the first round?
I have him to the Steelers at 21 or 22.
Yep, seen that a lot. So do you think the Colts, in their estimation, do what the Giants do, same as Tyler is saying, how they're similar, and pass on Jaxson Dart because they don't see Dart as the guy?
I mean, I think that they probably, if it seems like Tennessee's going to go quarterback, it seems like Cleveland's entertaining quarterback. If Tennessee doesn't go quarterback, it seems like they're going to go Abdul Carter. I know that Browns have also talked to Abdul Carter. I am in agreement with Aaron. Travis Hunter makes the most sense to the Giants at 3. I think it's a bang bang for them. They need help in the secondary. They need help at wide receiver. Like, literally, it's Malik Neighbors, and then Darius Slayton got the contract.
But it's the Giants, so what they'll do is draft a tight end or something at 3, not named Tyler Warren. They'll draft Fannin at 3 because
that would be crazy.
I would Fannin at 3.
New York and New York.
Hernandez again at 3.
Oh my God.
So, anyways, so as we're on these quarterback conundrums, apparently a video surfaced, and Aaron Rodgers came out of the darkness, and he was at a field, and he was throwing footballs to DK Metcalf, and creating the narrative that maybe he is in Pittsburgh. Not active at that workout was George Pickens, which has been a polarizing topic of the offseason. What happens with George Pickens? So I'll start this off. One, do we see Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh? And 2, does Pittsburgh really not like Pickens that much? Are they out on Pickens? Is he going to be playing somewhere else soon?
If we get a roster with Pickens, Metcalf, and Aaron Rodgers on it, we're going to need an entire show just to cover this fucking team all year. This is going to be the most like it's a reality TV show full of chick drama. It's just the worst shit you've ever seen. I don't even want to talk about this. Somebody else, please talk about this shit.
Okay, so from a rational standpoint, team pass plays per game, just talking numbers, Aaron Rodgers was actually 5th for the Jets, team pass plays per game. Ironically, though, the Jets 25th in pace of play. How does that work out from slicing of the pie for Pickens and DK Metcalf? With DK Metcalf, he's never had in his 6 seasons less than 900 yards. He's played 15 games or more, so he's been durable. You got 140 targets, 120 targets is his range. Last year was 108 targets for DK Metcalf. Where does that fall for George Pickens? Between Pickens, with his Trinity score, he has a 7.69 Trinity score from last season, a 45% air yard share, 25% target share. How much will it clash? Can their styles meld with Aaron Rodgers, especially if they're running the clock down? Is there going to be enough to go around? I'm curious about it. I think with not giving the contract to George Pickens, he's on that thin ice and he can roll tomorrow if Mike Tomlin doesn't see a fit. In the meantime, though, Mike Tomlin and Aaron Rodgers are getting intimate. But they're in the talking stages.
Chev, you look like you wanted to say something. I'm going to give you the floor.
No, he looks like he wants nothing to do with this conversation either.
Listen, I've said on any platform that I've been a part of for the last 60 days that there's nothing I want to see less than Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh. If you're talking about a cultural mismatch, there is nothing that is more just drastic, more opposing dynamics than Aaron Rodgers and the way he has behaved as a professional and the Pittsburgh Steelers culture. They do not mesh. They don't work. So with DK getting his bag, 150, whatever. I mean, the Steelers do wide receiver contracts weird, so it's really front loaded, and they can get out of the deal after the 2026 season. So it's really only like a 2-year, $60 million deal of something of that sort. I think that this signals the end in Pittsburgh for George Pickens. Coach can tell you, I've been a part of discords where I have ruined friendships over my love for George Pickens.
Yep.
But
for various reasons.
But I'm a Pickens believer, but I'm starting to think week 18 was the first time I started to accept the fact that he might never get out of his own way. Like, it just might not happen. It's just there is a monkey up there banging cymbals and there's a guy in a guy with a megaphone just screaming, "Do the intrusive thing," and that's what he's gonna do every single time. He's gonna whatever thought comes to his mind, that's exactly what he's gonna do, and there's nothing anybody can do about it that's not named George Pickens. So for me, I think that he's gonna end up somewhere else and have to go get the bag from somewhere else that's desperate for a number one receiver. I think this is bold prediction number one. We're here for hot takes. I think Carolina trades for him come draft time.
You have the best analogies, man. Your analogies, you're like fantasy football Shakespeare over here. I love your analogies. I'm going to start copying you.
On George Pickens, it just reminds me of the phrase, "Ain't nothing wrong with him, but something ain't right." So
that's what I'm saying. Like, it does not, like, his ability to just crash out in the middle of a football game. Yeah. Like, for instance, the Bengals game the first Bengals game, he's on his way to a monster day. I mean, he had 50 yards and a touchdown the first quarter. He gets a 15-yard penalty. He then gets another 15-yard penalty for doing the gun celebration. And they just have to stop. They have to stop throwing him the ball. And he was in line for a monster day. He finished with like 3 for 75 and a touchdown. And there was nothing that any DB was going to do to stop him. He's one of the most rarely talented athletes in the NFL that cannot get out of his own way.
Pickens, I have a lot of shares of Pickens. I like Pickens. I think Pickens is
he's my most owned dynasty player.
Yeah, you see the catches. You see that one where he made that catch and it was like over off like way off balance, like just incredible catches. You saw that with Russell throwing the moon balls and hit the superior tracking ability, right? Like he's built for it. And I honestly don't think that DK going there hurts him outside of let's see who's throwing the football. And that's because Pickens was doing what he was doing in double and triple coverage all freaking year. And he does get in his way because just like when he checks a corner that's trying to, check him on the line, or he knows he's like one of those people that show up and they have superior confidence in themselves and they just go, I'm going to catch this ball. I'm going to beat you because I am who I am. Right. And that, I don't hate that. I do think that he can clean it up, but I also thought the NFL was picking on him a little bit, because 100%. He is rough around the edges.
It's the Draymond Green. It's the Draymond Green effect. You're getting punished for stuff. You might not have done anything there, but we let you get away with some stuff back then that we're going to, it looked like you did something. So now we're going to we're on it.
He's Rasheed
got
Wallace.
a tight whistle.
It's a scary thought. If they did get Rodgers for those 3 or 4 plays a game where he gets the defense offside and then just chucks it downfield, he's got DK and George Pickens running downfield on just free plays, 90 yards downfield. Good God, that's horrifying.
Yeah. I mean,
they're going to have blow up games.
George is, to me, I've said this several times. He's the best receiver at the catch point. If the ball is more than 15 yards down the field and outside the numbers, there is no one close. Nobody.
Fair.
But there's other stuff that receivers have to do. And we saw the worst of George Pickens last year. He quit on that route against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it caused an interception. So you could see him starting to melt down more and more as the season went along. And I think the Steelers are just going to be done with it. I really hope that they don't trade him, but I think that we're coming to an end because they don't pay 2 wide receivers. They just don't do it.
Well, that was the game where George Pickens went to Patrick Mahomes right after and said, "Come get me," right?
I mean, he just, he just shook their hand.
Can you imagine if Mahomes had Pickens downfield? Oh,
yeah.
All those passes that got dropped by Justin Watson are just touchdowns on touchdowns on touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, we're all hoping for an A1 landing spot for Pickens.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got A1 potential. He's just got to land on the right spot. All right, so we're going to keep moving. I'm going to hop over. As you guys know, this show is brought to you by the Fantasy Sports Advice Network, and we always hop over there and hit one of the questions, and today I got one queued up from our guy over at FSAN, Grindberg, Mike Lindbergh. We're going to see what he's talking about right after this video.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
All right. And on the Advice Network, thought I had this screen up. We got in the Football General chat. Mike says, what is going to be, and everybody can give me your one here. Let me pop this over. Everybody can give me your one. What is going to be the biggest, if you had your call, put one stake in the ground, biggest draft day surprise this year? And you see Geezer right there in the bottom saying Sanders falling to the Jets. I don't know if anybody's buying that. But, Coach, start us off. We'll go top to bottom. Biggest draft day surprise in your mind?
Hey, I think that Is it too spicy to say that Travis Hunter falls to the New England Patriots at 4? Or not enough?
That's not enough. I can see that happening.
Okay.
Because if the Giants decide they do want to go quarterback and they take Shaduer, that's probably what happens.
Then I'm going to push up and say that the New Orleans Saints go ahead with Jaxson Dart as their quarterback. The waiver wire fab bidding goes up. It's Monday night, right? And you say, hey, I'm going to put in $9 on this guy. Then you say, well, that's we don't want a round number. We go 11. Then we go 17. And then before you know it, you're just like, hey, forget it. The fab's down there somewhere. It's $100 all the way. Teams are going to ladder up on draft night as much as they can. And I think chasing up the board, the New Orleans Saints are going to set themselves up with some Jaxson Dart.
Wow. So you have Jaxson Dart going in the top 10.
Single digits. Yes.
Single digits. All right, Chef.
Ashton Genty falls to the Broncos.
Woo!
20. Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a nut landing spot. Absolutely.
So let me ask you this. You think Genty at 20 is a fall, or do you think that's his top take?
There's a lot of mock drafts that have him going 6 to the Raiders, 10 to the Bears, 12 to the Cowboys. Yeah. Like him getting out of the top 12 is an upset, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if he keeps falling further, I'd be surprised if he went. I mean, the Bengals have committed to the whole bit, so I mean, he might not fall past the Bengals if he gets to the Bengals.
Oh God, that's sexy.
Yeah, see what I mean? And then all my Chase Brown shares just
wow.
I don't think Mike wants to hear that with Chase Brown. That he was big on Chase Brown.
I am too. That's probably my second most owned player in Dynasty. So I don't want it to happen. I'm just saying they're committed to the bit. They're going to say we have to score 900 points a game to win to win games. So let's just go get the best pieces everywhere.
Fair enough. All right, Aaron.
All right. One of the teams early between Tennessee, Cleveland, the Giants, Vegas, it's one of the early top 10 QB needy teams. Whoever doesn't get Ward or Shaduer, I believe they will trade back into the late first round to draft Jalen Milroe. He's going to sneak into the end of the first round to a team that needs a QB and wants to get the 5th-year option. They'll trade in. I don't know. You see Buffalo and KC, Philly, these teams trade out of the last few picks every year. I think someone trades back up after missing on an early quarterback and snags Milroe with the 5th-year option.
That is
for rushing upside alone.
That is 5 million Scovilles scorched butthole hot. That's spicy.
He's also my QB too. That was my spicy take.
Oh, that's even spicy. Oh, yeah. We're trying to send people to the moon with these takes.
Okay, well, actually, my spicy take for it was of all the quarterbacks in this draft, he will have the single highest fantasy finish during his career. He may not have better long-term success, but with his rushing upside, he will have one blow-up season where he will just put up monster rushing yards. Maybe he can hold it together, and I think he has top 5 upside, and I don't really think any of the others have that high upside. He may have a 1-year flame out like Anthony Richardson did. Well, Richardson only got half a season, but just the upside.
I love that call on Fast Draft, the Origins tournament. It's a best ball tournament where it's all rookies. I've been pushing up Jalen Milroe on the boards, and when I can, I've gotten Shaduer and Milroe. I actually put a post on X today, so thank you for confirming my bias. Jalen Milroe can break a tournament like that in a rookie setting in a format. Great call there. Yeah.
Again.
Aaron, where would you put Jalen Milroe in? Okay, he lands in the first round. Where would you want to draft Jalen Milroe in a rookie draft? Dynasty rookie mock or real draft?
I don't know if he creeps into so you said rookie startup or
Dynasty,
rookie draft?
Sorry, rookie dynasty.
I don't know if he gets into the first round for me. It depends on where he goes. Like I could also see like the Rams taking him at 26 to plan for the future. Like I don't know if he
Okay.
He creeps into the first round for me. because I don't necessarily know if he's an immediate starter. I think he's going to sit a year behind someone. Like I said, I think out of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, I think he has the highest rushing upside of anyone besides Lamar Jackson. He's that good, just that good rushing. So I might be able to take him in, if he goes to a good landing spot at the end of the first round, I might get him into the first round of a rookie draft, but I don't know how much higher I'd want. There's still some, good players here that are a lot safer.
Yeah, man, that's spicy. Yeah. So I guess we'll see how that ends up turning out. Shep, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm holding up the pass plays for any team that drafts Jalen Milroe.
Nope.
Well, it's fair enough. Fair enough. But
I really want him to be a thing. I really do. But the back half of last year made me nervous that he's just going to be Taysom Hill at the NFL level.
I wouldn't mind him being Taysom Hill.
It'd be great.
Everybody loves Taysom Hill.
It'd be fantastic.
Milroe, he really has to tightrope it if he's on that 4-year window. People forget how tough it was for Jalen Hurts to tightrope it. He barely got to play just a few games at the end of his rookie season. He had that Saints game where it was a huge opportunity. The Saints were a tough defense. And then he had the epic game against the Cardinals in championship week. Then that pushed into the next offseason. It was a will he or won't he. There were so many people hating and pushing on Jalen Hurts. I'm just concerned if Milroe doesn't get that first-round draft capital, to Aaron's point, I think that window is going to be even tighter to slam shut on him than the window of opportunity that even Jalen Hurts has had. And Chev knows it too. He spoke to it. Jalen Hurts is made of the right stuff. We're not so sure that Milroe has that. So I'm very bearish on the opportunity Milroe will get. But to your point, Aaron, if he ends up hitting in round 1, that extra 5th year buys just that little extra time and consideration and investment in the NFL. In the NFL, teams can lie, but they don't lie with their draft capital and their free agency moves. So that would be something that I would have to at least give more consideration for his fantasy outcome and career.
He could creep into the end of the first round and be a top 5 QB season for fantasy, or he could go in the 3rd round and never see the field. The range of outcomes are ridiculous.
Fields,
he's Justin Fields. That's exactly what I see as the ceiling outcome for Jalen Milroe.
Yeah, and it's crazy, you see these type moves, things like this. You see players that are kind of polarizing like that. And, we saw that with a trade that just happened, and it was another Dallas move. They traded San Francisco to get Trey Lance late. They traded in New England to get Joe Milton. That
Justin Fields comp was great. I was just looking, and he had a QB7 finish in his 2nd season on a pretty crappy team and then never did anything. That's what Milroe could do. Put up one excellent season and then vanish off the face of the earth.
Yeah. So, obviously there's a lot of players out there that are in this Jalen Milroe window. Like I said, Joe Milton's one of those, and you wonder if they could have relevance. Dallas, I don't know what they're doing, taking everybody's, quarterbacks that aren't quarterbacks. I mean, they get them for cheap, I guess. 7th round picks, not much.
Yo, what's up, man? D-bro.
What's up, D-bro? Thanks for tuning in. So, D-bro, you're just in time. Milroe is a booger. So this is we're about to get into some hot takes. I asked everybody here to prepare at least 2 brain busters. I'm talking about stuff that, the average Joe would call you crazy for. And so we're going to enter that part of the show. And,
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Chev, I'm gonna let you start us off. I need something strong right here, like a nice cup of like espresso in the morning.
Oh, well, let's start here. Jayden Higgins is this year's Brian Thomas Jr.
Is that outlandish?
Do you? I mean,
I asked for crazy. I asked for crazy. Like Jayden Higgins seems to be a favorite. Like when I hear people talking about him, like I've seen more Jayden Higgins sleeper content across the board. I mean, Coach, you tell me, is he for real? Like, is this a thing? Like, can he be Brian Thomas Jr.? Can he be over 1,000 yards year one?
Well, it's a gutsy call because you're looking at BTJ is now a first-round outright alpha hammer wideout. So the archetype match of somebody like Jayden Higgins to be a big X receiver, yeah, that's a huge bold call. So the bank is worth the risk, as Val Kilmer would say in Heat. Jayden Higgins is absolutely going to be worth it, and you can arbitrage down in these rookie drafts. I love the call. And look, if it falls short, hey, you reach for the moon, you catch the stars. Jayden Higgins is a quality player to have on your radar. It's funny enough.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Finish.
For arbitrage, you got a deep running back class. We're getting sold that this is just a weak wide receiver class. But as you get into the names of 5 through 10, you have these gems of somebody like a Jayden Higgins. So I think this wide receiver class is absolutely getting slept on.
Yeah, I love this Higgins to Tennessee with Cam Ward. That would be nice.
I just mocked him earlier in one of my write-ups, 50th overall to the Seahawks, which I like because Sam Darnold there throwing deep, and the two receivers they have are slot receivers. So
yeah,
I have him as
receivers.
Yep.
And they need the Rashid Shaheed role to be filled, and it can be filled by a guy who's 6'4", 214 and runs 4.4 with a 39-inch
breakout, baby, for various
reasons. I would change my permanent address to the cement aisle at your local Home Depot if Jayden Higgins gets that draft capital. Like, I mean, so here's the thing, Tyler. I've been a Jayden Higgins guy since like late October. Like I started this in late October. I was like, hey man, I think that this dude from Iowa State's really good. And everybody's like, well, he's big and he can't separate. And he's, I mean, and he goes to the Senior Bowl and he beats the crap out of everybody. And then he goes to the combine and he proves it again. So I have been on this train for a while, and now everybody's catching up. So now all the sleeper talk is, oh, Jayden Higgins is awesome. Jayden Higgins is awesome. So now I have to go even further and say that he's going to duplicate the success of a rookie who finished in the top 10 and now is a first-round pick in rookie drafts, and that is where I am. Jayden Higgins is going to be a top 12 receiver this year.
Love it. So let me ask you this, and just for clarification, right? If we're talking about Brian Thomas Jr. value, we're talking about, it's essentially top 2, 3. Jayden Higgins, who is it, if anybody, that you have above him?
Debro said he's my wide receiver 5. So Travis is 1. This is the hottest take of all of it. Travis is 1, Ibuka is 2, Trey Harris is 3, Ted's 4, Jayden Higgins is 5. And I think Jayden Higgins is the best. I don't think Jayden Higgins is the best receiver in the class. Travis Hunter is the best receiver in the class. Hands down, no equivocations. The safest is Emeka Ibuka. Trey Harris is an analytics darling, and I've loved him for a really long time, but he's going to be a tremendous value. I think he's probably the second most pro-ready behind Ibuka. Number 4, Ted McMillan, I'm just kind of out on, but everybody loves him, so I had to put him in my top 5. And then Jayden Higgins, it's everything that I want to see in a receiver. I have a type. I love Nico Collins before anybody loved Nico Collins. So, it's that. It's that. And the athleticism confirmed it for me.
Love it. Love it. All right. Aaron, you're on the clock.
Oh, shit. I forgot who I was going to go with. We talked about that one for so long. Let's go to someone else. I was still formulating that.
Okay, so we heard about he was talking Debro said Higgins goes to Tennessee and teams with Cam Ward. We are off running. Speaking of off running, Calvin Ridley is going to be this year's Terry McLaurin. This time of year, it's beneficial to reverse engineer outcomes with the NFL draft. So if we see a player we already like, we can envision a bullish story for them. If it's believable, you're in the early stages of carving out what I feel is mind value as your market maven for inefficient price to your benefit. We get an older wide receiver. He's shown flashes, not consistent year-over-year production. The talent has always existed for Calvin Ridley. Fantasy points per game has an averages all over the place. 12.9 his rookie year, 18.8 ranked fourth in 2020. Calvin Ridley, 143 targets that year, 90 receptions, 1,300 plus receiving yards, all career highs. In 2024, Ridley, 11.7 fantasy points per game, 120 targets, 64 receptions off that. A huge part of that is the quarterback issue with Will Levis. In steps, Cam Ward. You're getting a better quarterback in Cam Ward. Ridley goes right now in round 6 to Terry McLaurin's round 5 ADP last season. I see a 1-round post-NFL draft bump for Calvin Ridley that has not been priced in prior to the NFL draft. So, from Player Profiler, Ridley, 9th in explosive rating last season. Those are big plays of 20 yards or more. Calvin Ridley was also number 1 in air yards, 5th in ADOT, 3rd in deep targets, 1st in unrealized air yards. From DD Fantasy Football, shout out to Ray G and my whole crew. Love you guys. Calvin Ridley, a 6.62 Trinity score, 37% air yard share, 23% target share. Theo Greminger always talks about the concept of a money zone for wide receivers. Last year, it was Terry McLaurin for me. That was my call. This year, it's going to be Calvin Ridley. All right. Both McLaurin and Ridley will be 30 this year. So I see the same rinse repeat for Calvin Ridley with Cam Ward going to Chev's Tennessee Titans.
I just blacked out a little bit in the middle of that.
It was a lot of analytics, but I follow.
Listen. He said Calvin Ridley is this year's Terry McLaurin, and I was like, I started daydreaming about how beautiful it would be. Just those
was it dirty enough?
Over the middle, yeah.
Was it dirty enough?
Over the middle.
Hey, where are your hands? Check your hands. Where are his hands?
I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know where my hands are. I don't know. Oh, listen, guys. That is incredible. That I can't believe. So one, I have like survivor's remorse when it comes to the Titans. Like I just believe that there's never going to be anything besides like good running backs. We get like a couple good running backs every 5 to 7 years, and like that's it. We can't have nice things other than that. Like we had AJ Brown, we screwed that up. We screwed that up so bad. So now when you're talking about like a receiver being good, I just become JoJo the idiot circus boy, and I can't control myself. And honestly, I'm gonna save that as my ringtone because I just can't believe that somebody else sees the vision of my team not being a dumpster fire anymore. Like that made me so happy that I blacked out for a second just thinking about Cam Ward catching, like throwing the ball to Calvin Ridley, like Cam to Calvin 2025. I might have my slogan.
Tyler, the previous password to the Fantasy Football Universe group chat was F Calvin Ridley. If Calvin Ridley is drafted in the first 10 rounds by me in any league, it means I've drafted from an ayahuasca den with Aaron Rodgers.
I know that, like, Aaron leaves camera, goes back with the bottle of bourbon, and he just
ball. What you got? Maple.
All right.
Ooh,
had to get serious. That take was just so spicy. He needed a little bit more spice. Those mushrooms were kicking, dude. That's incredible. Awesome. I love that take. I don't know if I'm buying, but there's this dream that has been a resurgence of Calvin Ridley for so long. And I feel like each time he goes to a new spot and there's new hope, and even he gets paired with Trevor Lawrence and we're like, yes, it's gonna happen. And it's just like, it's like, how many times can we get hope and then be let down, and get hope and then be let down? And Chev, I hope for you, man, for the Titans, I hope that a Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley blessing happens. It is the shot at Calvin Ridley being relevant. If
C2C, Cam to Calvin.
Now, if Tennessee does what the other half of the world is projecting, and they go Abdul Carter in the first round.
How to have fun anytime, anywhere. Step 1, go to ChumbaCasino.com.
ChumbaCasino.com. Got it.
Step 2, collect your welcome bonus.
Come to Papa welcome bonus.
Step 3, play hundreds of casino-style games for free.
That's a lot of games, all for free?
Step 4, unleash your excitement.
Chumba Casino has been delivering thrills for over a decade. So claim your free welcome bonus now and live the Chumba life. Visit ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And pass on the quarterback.
It's Jover. It's Jover, man. Jover.
There it is. That's the reaction I was looking for. All right, Aaron, do you have yours now? I'm sure you're feeling good with that last chug there.
We can't top that. We should have ended the show. We can't beat that. Anything I say now is completely irrelevant.
No, it'll still be good. This isn't a copy.
Just let the makeable cast take over.
Okay, my spicy take, my second one. Top 12 receiver, Ricky Pearsall. I love him. I think Ayuk's on his way out. What? Top 12. Wide receiver 1.
12.
Yep. Ricky Pearsall.
That's spicy.
That's hot.
Yeah.
That's hot.
That's not 5 million Scoville scorched butthole hot, but that's warm.
It is warm.
That is warm.
Yeah, some flaming Cheetos.
So he assumes the alpha dog role over Brandon Ayuk and Juwan Jennings and George Kittle.
I don't even think Brandon Ayuk stays there. And the other two.
All right, so where do you have Brandon Ayuk going?
I don't yet, but I imagine he's going somewhere on draft day. And then
oh baby, let's
CMC
go.
and George Kittle, they get what? They played what, half the games? CMC, George Kittle?
No. George Kittle played 15 and went over 1,000 yards on 90 targets.
So he's due to play 4 this year.
Yeah.
He's never played like less than 13.
I know I'm exaggerating, but it's CMC. I think there's more than enough room for him to be the guy there. The path is easy to see for Ricky P. Thank you, D bro.
It's so funny. These takes happen, and you start out and you're like Ricky Pearsall 12, and then as you start to elaborate, it heats up, right? And you're sitting there oh yeah, now we're getting Brandon Ayuk leaving. It's Pearsall and nobody else. Do we think San Francisco takes a receiver in this draft of note?
No.
Elijah Higgins.
What did he say?
They have so much.
Elijah Higgins for various reasons.
Well, they're going to burn at least one day 2 and one day 3 pick on a running back. They do that every year.
Yeah. I mean, the ESPN Plus mock that came out here recently, about a week ago, they had RJ Harvey going there in the 4th round. Now, you want to talk about bricked up and cement aisle? Give me RJ Harvey to the 49ers and let the chaos ensue.
I like that.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's it. They did a 7-round mock. Now, what I didn't like is they had Brashard Smith going in the 7th round. I don't buy that at all. I don't like that.
See, this is where I'm at. D-Bro on the chat, man, I appreciate you lighting up the chat. San Francisco met with a ton of wide receivers at the combine. I think that if Ayuk moves, or even if Ayuk doesn't move, I think that they still are going to go. They're still going to take wide receiver. Now, maybe it's a day 3 pick or like a late on day 2 pick if they really like somebody. But I do see them taking a wide receiver in this draft. I mean, they just let too much walk, and I don't hate them taking a running back. And RJ Harvey would be electric. Like, they need to be able to spell CMC. They have to be able to spell CMC. And you've seen it doesn't really matter. Like, all of it, it doesn't necessarily, I mean, it matters who it is, but we've seen multiple running backs be successful behind CMC in that San Francisco offense. So somebody that's electric like that kind of fits that mold of how they run their scheme could be very impactful. And it could be one of those where you have like a Lions defense or a Lions, running back room where you got, 1A and 1B, right? And you get relevant production out of both players because it doesn't take CMC that many carries to actually put numbers on the board, right? And I don't think that it would take somebody with breakaway speed that many carries either to create relevance.
Oh boy, is Bayshul Tootin a good fit for San Fran? He's right. San Fran or Miami?
I would say on RJ Harvey, he's just so efficient at jump, cut, and go. Laterally, he can jump, cut, and just direct forward. Very efficient in how he runs. I would love to see him in San Francisco. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and San Francisco's not like, they're not one of those teams where he's, like they need to have two different style of running backs. They're not looking to have like your heavy hitter and then your scat back. Like they want the same kind of system guy, and they're okay with that. And then if they really want to get creative, we always get Juszczyk.
Bring back Orlando Scary.
I mean, the thing about that backfield is if you're average, you run for 1,000 yards. If you're special, you run for like 14, 15. And that's kind of what you get from CMC. But I mean, I think that the running back class lends itself to somebody else landing there. I mean, they're gonna spend day 2 or day 3 capital on a running back this year. I mean, they did it with Garindo when they still had Elijah Mitchell on the roster and Jordan Mason. So we know that they're gonna take somebody in day 3.
I mean, it doesn't matter. San Francisco can't keep backs healthy. Same thing with freaking Mike McDaniel. Can't keep running backs healthy. Same system. Like they can't keep their running backs healthy. So they have to take running backs.
Hey, back to Aaron, what he was saying about Ricky Pearsall, how we jumped on this. This is wide receiver 7 and a 14 finish his final 2 weeks. So that's extrapolating big. So Aaron, any fear or trepidation that makes you bearish on Pearsall? Or do you feel like that's just an indicator of the consistency that will be applied over a healthy 17-game stretch? You're calling wide receiver 12.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if he can reach that levels. I think he settles in more likely as a wide receiver too. But you have to factor in, like, he spent how much of the season rehabbing from getting shot in the preseason training camp. So you think a full off season. It's his rookie training camp. He missed most of it or all of it. You got to think if he gets healthy in a whole offseason, he's going to be fairly consistent. Debo out of town, CMC never really all that healthy. I just think the potential's here. I don't know if he actually reaches 12. Like I said, you said spicy. I think he's more likely a wide receiver too, but I like the upside there if he hits.
Yeah, no, I love it. Coach, you number 2.
You had enough, or you're thirsty for more? Let's go with
more. I think we're hitting right at our timeline. Yeah. So
you ready?
We can hit it. Let's go.
Hey, always want to hit it, right? David Njoku, top 3 tight end in 2025. David Njoku, tight end 10 on Underdog right now in round 10. Let's do more reverse engineering. We see a quarterback improvement, Shaduer Sanders, and an overall improvement in health. So more games played. There's a little bit of a T. Higgins problem. Played just 11 games in 2024. 13.5 fantasy points per game for David Njoku. Was 4th at the position. Averaged 8.8 targets per game. Add that to a 17-game total. And I know that's a most bullish case. You're at 149 targets for next season. Njoku ranked 6th in tight end targets last season. The top 5 earners last year, tight end. Brock Bowers, 148, 17 games. So that pace would be right up there with Brock Bowers. Trey McBride, 139 in 16 games. Travis Kelce, 131. Jonnu Smith, 109. George Kittle, 92 in 15 games. Shout out to George Kittle. Is fantasy points per game, and I think the last 6 seasons, tight end 6 or better. So another shout out to him. David Njoku managed to be 10th in tight end receptions with 64 last year. Let's say it is, though, Kirk Cousins, right? QB, Kirk Cousins, another year out from his torn Achilles. Let's say Cousins can drive off the back of his foot for some power on his throws, be in sync with the lower half and upper half of his body. 2022 and 2023, TJ Hawkinson, tight end 4 and tight end 2 in fantasy points per game. 2022, TJ Hawkinson, second in receptions, second in receiving yards, second in targets with 129, third in red zone targets. Hawkinson in 2023, before, remember Cousins got hurt, second in receptions, second in receiving yards, unrealized air yards. Njoku does not have the name brand value, but he will after 2025. Be it Kirk Cousins, Shaduer Sanders, David Njoku, top 3 tight end in 2025.
I could see that, but for me, I look at my tight end rankings and I got Bowers, McBride, Laporta, Kittle, and then it's like, now what? This tight end rankings are a freaking mess. There's like 15 guys in a row here where I could see them as high as 4 or 5 or as low as 16. So yeah, I could see that just because the whole freaking tight end class, or the whole tight end group is a mess. So,
and you get them in round 10. In round 10, huge arbitrage, tons of juicy meat on the bone.
That's crazy. I held it together for as long as I could.
Pause. There's no pause.
All Diddy.
All streaming. No pause.
Look, Njoku has shown that he can be relevant. The question has always been, can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? Whether it be a rookie, like for tight ends, rookie quarterback situations typically bode well because they're under pressure. They need to get rid of it. And Njoku's going to be like, he thrives in that, right? The underneath target share. So it's very possible. It's possible. He has the talent. I think to me, the question is, will he play
Perry, so you're telling me there's a chance?
Dude,
there's a chance.
They manufactured touches for him like he was prime Percy Harvin. So
they got the best option is you got Jerry Jeudy, and then you've got Cedric Tillman, who stays questionable, and they're currently on their depth chart. Their wide receiver 3 is Michael Woods II. Do you know who he is? You should know who he is, Chef.
Yeah, I know who he is. Nobody else knows who he is, bud. But I know who he is.
There's a reason nobody else knows who he is. And me as an Arkansas fan, I know who he is. But obviously, they're going to need help at wide receiver. They're going to need a lot of help. And I feel, hopefully if they do take a quarterback, they get some weapons.
He'd be a top 1 or 2 options as a skeleton key for tight end production in fantasy football.
Yeah. Awesome. Did anybody have any other ones?
Yeah, Tyjae Spears and Trey Benson are going to be top 12 running backs in 2024.
Sex! That's so good. That's so good.
I can't speak to this unbiased. Because I have a lot of James Conner shares, and I'm like hoping like maybe he's got one more ring around the sun before he's done. Like I'm hoping that I can get like 6 solid games from him and then sell him. It's one of those, but I do like Trey Benson. I like that call. But I hope Connor gets at least 5 games where I can sell him midseason because I have a lot of shares. But he's been steady.
So the reason I say that is because before last year, James Conner had never played more than 15 games in the season, and that was back in like 2021. He had a career high in touches. He had a career high in yards rushing, and he still fell short at the end of the year getting hurt and not being able to finish that Week 17 game. Now, he's going into his age 30 season, and I have a few shares of James Conner too, and I've ridden the wave of just, hey, man, nobody's going to give me what I need for him, so he's probably just going to have to die on my roster. But now I went out last year and I was like, what is it going to take for Trey Benson? And people were so pissed that they would just let me get like, give me a third in 2025 and a 2027 third. And you could have Trey Benson. That's after spending like early second round capital on him in the 2024 rookie draft because you're pissed because he couldn't beat out James Conner, a man who literally cheated death. You think that man is going to cede his job to some 21-year-old rookie? You are out of your rabbit ass mind. So with that, now we can buy Trey Benson for cheap because now James Conner has given us his Mr. Holland's opus of a performance as a fantasy asset, and we can just move on.
I seen earlier that Draft Day was just added to Netflix, and listening to you wheel and deal makes me want to go watch it right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man, I have to have Draft Day. Like I make memes where like I just have the Post-it note and I just send it to somebody. And it's just
I seen a great meme. I seen a great Draft Day meme earlier. You know how nobody went to Bo Callahan's birthday, right?
Yeah.
You know why no one went to his birthday?
Why?
Think of who his agent was.
Wait.
Diddy.
Yeah.
All right, that's cut.
So I know what
Too soon.
I got Tyler Campbell.
We're shutting it down with that one. Hey, look, thank you guys for tuning in. Sorry we went a little over. D-Bro, thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you. It's Friday night. We'll see you next week, Friday night, 9 o'clock from the Forum. Always a good time. Keep it spicy.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Coincidence? I think not. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere, even at 30,000 feet. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.